Yes, hello and welcome to another evening of the beautiful uh, Sailplane Grand Prix qualifying. Nice to have you here. I shortly need to check where my sound is coming from. There it is. So I shut down everything fine. And we have a special guest. He's kind of invisible tonight if I look to my
Yes,
right, but you can hear him already.
yes, I'm not visible because I have no camera, but I'm here, very
Thank
near
you.
to Ben.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Frank Schwertfeger, also known as Oscar 9 in the Condor community. And yeah, you've decided to join us this evening commentating on the Sailplane Grand Prix qualifying for the Sailplane Grand Prix final. And we are already in Italy, in the right place where they need to be, in Varese.
Yes, thanks, Ben. Bravo Foxtrot. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Meeting
and
you in Varese.
yeah, we already back the days we made some Condor streaming as well as the Condor broadcast software came out, and I think we did a quite well job. So we try our best tonight here with Timo, who's doing the stream for us, and try to commentate on this fifth day of the qualifying races here in Italy. So nice to have you everybody here. We already had the real life competition last week in Varese, Italy, and Mario Kiesling, a German one. Good for us, Frank, as Germans. We are happy to see Mario Kiesling winning winning the qualifying back in Italy.
Yes, it was quite close to Alberto Zironi, a local, uh, a local glider pilot from Italy with his JS1, and on third place was Gilles Navarre from France with a AST 29 with some more points with 19 points. Yes.
Yeah, and if we have a look in the fifth day of racing in real life, we saw John Gutfield in an AS 33 winning the day, and they had to fly like 250 kilometers, which the real or the Condor pilots today have to fly as well. And have you already seen the briefing, Frank? Have you already joined the server?
No, one
But
moment.
we are on our way. So they need to fly 255 kilometers tonight, and yeah, quite a long run. They had speeds of 130 kilometers per hour in real life, and it took like 2 hours and 15 minutes for them to get around the course. Let's see what the Condor pilots uh, are able to do tonight. So we are just about to join the server and see what happens, and then we can have a look at the briefing for tonight.
Yes, my Condor crashed. Oh, yes, now it
Oh,
goes.
that's a pity, but yeah, we will start, of course, in Varese. Timo, are you ready to? Yeah, thank you. We start in Varese and fly towards the east. The first turn point is called Popolo. It's Italy, right? So it's Popolo.
No, it's Fopolo
Popolo.
with F. No,
Have you ever been there, Frank,
no.
in the southern Alps?
I just flew the one Grand Prix, one virtual Grand Prix in Varese.
Ah,
It was connected to the real one at the same time. Last year or 2 years ago, I don't know because of Corona. I think 2 years ago.
yeah, okay. So Varese is, if you don't know where we are, it's in Italy, northwest of Milan. So it's a perfect place for glider pilots to enter the Alps. And today they will enter the Alps a little bit. As we said, they will fly to Foppolo, which is the first leg towards the east, and then cross Locarno towards the west to Mozio, the second turn point in the rest, which is already close to Münster. And let's see who is taking the best line over there. And then they will jump out of the Alps once again and fly towards the south, towards the finish line. A nice little lake right here at Varese. And the last leg is a short one, very low flying above the lake, so we will get nice pictures at the final glide right there. That will be very interesting, especially the final part between turn point 3 and 4, where they have to cross a small hill on their final glide. So Frank, if you see this chart, what would you do?
I just saw in the briefing that there's no wind. Is that right? Only,
Yeah, I can confirm there's no wind at all.
I just would fly, but there are no clouds either. It's a very very interesting task. I would stay at the south of the hills, I think, to try to get the hotspots of the thermals. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
and what would you do?
very, very interesting to see the weather. We can shortly go through it once again. We have no wind at all, so that's very interesting. And we have blue sky with moderate thermals. And that will be very fun to see what the actual wind is, because it says upper level wind speed is 340 kilometers per 340, yes, 35 kilometers per hour in the upper wind. So let's see what this will bring into Condor now, what this weather setting. And yeah, that's the weather for today. And we had, as we said, already some races the last weeks, or the last week. Unfortunately, one day should be cancelled. And if we have a look at the overall results, we can see a pilot that's very familiar to us, Frank. It's Jørgen Jørgensen, Jørgen, and Juliet, a very good pilot. I already flew against him in the final last summer, and we had some great races. What are your experiences with JJJ?
He's a very aggressive pilot, very good, very fast one. And I think especially at the high speed task, he's very, very good.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward how he's capable of dealing with this kind of weather setting today. We saw him at the top spots, or the top results. He won the day yesterday, so he's currently leading with a lot of points against the others. 600 points more than Jarmo Karelainen, a Finnish guy. We know him as well. He's a very good pilot, constantly flying as well, and closely followed by the United Kingdom guy, Sean Churchill, who's on the third place. But it's suspense for the first 5 pilots, because they are or 5 or 6 pilots, because they are very close together. So we can see a switch after this day as well. And it seems to be a little bit of a random task. So let's see who can deal with it the best.
Yes, I think this kind of task I never flew in Condor. I think most of the guys didn't fly this kind of task. Let's see how they can manage it.
Yeah, it will be interesting what the actual wind is in Condor. We will find out later. And we can already see them joining the server, and as you said, it's a blue day, completely blue weather. So not everybody is familiar with that. And it will be interesting to see the regatta start then, because as we already teached you the other race days, they all start at the same time in a regatta start, and after that they fly the same task. So who's home first will be the first one.
Quite interesting is also that the thermal width is not very is quite narrow. It's normal. The settings are normal, and that means that the thermals are um, quite below 200 meters in diameter, and that shouldn't be any problem because the weight of the glider is not so big, 48 kilograms per square meter, I think.
Yes.
But if you fly very heavy, it's a problem to center the thermal. Yes.
Yeah, of course. And but of course it's regulated at this kind of race because we all want to have, or want everybody to have the same opportunity for their racing. So we have the Ventus 3 from Sean Churchill over here, and he's trying to get first dip into the air and see how the activity is at the moment. So it's up for everybody to see what the weather is like and which rather to fly in the north or the south of the mountains and where the wind is coming from. So that will be very interesting. I'm really looking forward.
And I think it won't be an advantage to be the first to start. I think in this kind of conditions, you also in real life, it's sometimes to be is an advantage to be a little bit behind and see what the others are doing, where they are circling and when they are circling, if they are climbing good or bad.
Yeah, absolute. And it's a regatta start, so everybody has the same starting time. So you can't do this poker game and wait for others to start. So if you start late, you come in late. But as you said, it's an advantage to maybe stay in front and or not to stay in front and just to let the others go and join the thermals that are already marked.
Yes, I think so.
And if you stay high at this part, then you are good to go and stay on above everybody else.
Yes, it's important to be the highest in the last thermal, not in the first.
Yes, and that's what's racing about. And we had Arne Martin, Alpha Mike, who's flying the JS3. We have some interesting news about him because he got his own JS3 in real life. I think I saw some Facebook images, and if I'm right, he bought his private JS3 for real life flying. So I'm looking forward to see him flying the virtual JS3 right now, and maybe it would be interesting to get some feedback of him how the virtual one behaves towards the real one.
Yes, that's true. Arne Martin. Yes, he's really flying the J3, I see, um, in the scoring board. Let's see if it's the better glider. I think at weak conditions where you have to thermal very much, it's better to fly with a Ventus 3. If it's faster, I think J3 is better in Condor. Let's see
Yeah.
how it turns out today.
What was your choice when you flew? I saw you flew a lot at the Swedish qualifying races. And which glider did you choose, Frank?
I chose the Vento 3 because it wasn't always a fast race, and most of the other guys chose the Vento 3, so it wasn't a problem. You didn't see if the J3 is better. You just fly like the other ones.
Yeah.
And at the fast day, it was no disadvantage. You didn't the couple of guys with the J3 didn't do it at this days, so it was okay.
Yeah. And today we see the spreaded field as well. We have the Ventus 3 and the J3 over here. Not sure if there's somebody with a ASG 29 or a Antares 18S. But yeah, I think all of them chose the JS3 and Ventus 3. And the only JS3, if I have a look at the list once again, it's only Arne Martin in the JS3. So that's interesting. He sticks to his real life glider, and he can already feel how it feels in real life. I'm not sure if he already did a flight in it, in the real one, but there was a big mistake for him on the on his competition mark, because he's Alpha Mike in Condor, and it was Mike Alpha. What happened,
Yes.
Arne Martin? What happened there? There must be it must be switched. So in real life, I never would find him in the real air, because I would search for Arne Martin, of course.
But in Boras, he flew the Ventus 3.
Yeah, so that must be connected to his real life money drop. No, it's nice. I really like to see him flying this. Not sure if he already did, but I am looking forward. And yeah, today the pilots need to be careful about landing out. We are in the Alps, and that's an important part in the Alps, not to get low and get stuck and not having an opportunity to land anywhere. So, but in this part of the Alps, it's okay. Do you know, Frank, if there are a lot of fields in this part of the Southern Alps?
I don't know. I think if you fly to the south, there will be some opportunities, but in the northern part where they fly today, there won't be much opportunities, I think, to land out.
Okay.
But today it's very important not to get stuck, because you can't park at the ridges. They won't function today, I think.
Yeah. Let's see if that works. So, as you said, you would stay on the southern side of the ridges. Why would you do so, Frank?
I think because of the sun, it will shine at the southern southern side of the hills, and it will form some thermals. So, is it in real life? I hope it will be so in Condor.
Yes, it's the same in Condor as well. I can I can tell you, but yeah, as Frank said, in the northern hemisphere, of course, where we are in Italy, the sun is pointing at the southern side of the ridges, and then you have the best thermals at the southern sides most of the time, of course, and especially with no wind, that should be the case. Very interesting case, and you can see what happens already. The field is quite close together. That's what we will see, I think, most of this race, most of the time. All of them will fly a almost straight line at the ridges towards the turn point, and everybody will follow each other.
And it will be gaggle flying, I think, too. Yes,
definitely, yeah. And then we will maybe see some guys trying something different. And that's the part where we can see some action tonight. And that's what I'm really looking forward to see somebody making a different choice than the others. So, and maybe it will be good or maybe it will be bad. But it's these kind of days where you can make a lot of points. Of course, in Grand Prix racing, it doesn't matter at all because you get like 10 points, or for Condor right now 1,000 points, and so on. But if we would have a normal day, a normal race day without regatta race, it would be very interesting to see some guys getting a lot of points because they made a different strategy than the others.
So how long does it take for the start now? I don't have
Services in the task manager. Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Everybody. Hello. I think we are back on Twitch and YouTube. There have been some technical difficulties, issues right here, and but Timo fixed it right now, I think, and we can join back into the live racing action shortly, as the race is about to start in around about 3 minutes. I think everybody tried to get enough altitude to be able to make the start.
Yes, I'm currently watching Get stream. They are all flying into the behind the start line at 1,500 meters. They have 2 minutes and 30 seconds around.
Okay. Thank you, Frank, for being our little observer right here. And yeah, thank you, Timo. And can you start our view in Discord once again? Thank you very much. So then we can see the stream as well. And for everybody who's new right here with us tonight, you can, of course, ask some questions in the YouTube or Twitch live chat, and we try to answer them as best as possible with our best German English we can ever have. And with me tonight is Frank Schwertfeger, also known as Oscar 9. Nice to have you here, Frank. And we are about to see the race starting. I need to open the right pictures once again. There we go. It's a LKW passing by. But yes, so there we are once again. We have the field already lined up for the start. They all set up right behind the starting line. And going through this blue little sector there, where's the start 221 Varese above. And on the right side, you can see the blue sector, which is the finish line. So they will fly 250 kilometers in between on a blue sky day. Interesting for Condor, right, Frank? And everybody's lined up. And as we said already, it will be a really interesting task tonight. So stick with us and to feel the full thrill of this 5th day of Italy's qualifying for the Sailplane Grand Prix.
Oh, my stream.
And we are about to start here at Varese for the 250 kilometers of pure 80-meter class racing. So the field is departed. They need to have a ground speed of 170 kilometers per hour while crossing the line. And we can already see the guys forming as a gaggle. Only one guy is sticking to his own little strategy at the moment. It's Miali Knausch from Hungary, who's
Yes.
flying a straight line towards the first turn point. That's interesting for this kind of racing. The speeds are quite low at the moment, Frank. Tell us why.
I think they are quite uncertain where the next thermal is, and everybody wants to see what the others are doing, who will be circling first, and then they will turn to this guy. I think it's a quite tactical decision to fly at low speeds now.
Yeah, and it is a little bit like a break for the whole field. I think if you fly this on your own, you try to go a bit faster. But if you are in this field right here, you make this tactical move to fly slower. And as we have some other servers coming up this night for the guys in different time zones, so there might be some different speeds then, and that is interesting to see the overall result then tomorrow afternoon.
But I think the more important decision or more important parameter are the good thermals to get at the beginning. The starting speeds are not that important, I think.
No, you are definitely right. And if there's a blue day in real life for you, Frank, so just a quick question first. You are flying in real life, right? I know.
Okay.
But for how long are you flying in real life, Frank?
I'm flying 26 years in real life now.
Wow.
I started in, I hope it's 26 years. I started in 1996, if I calculate right. And yes, I started flying contests at the age of 20, I think. And now I'm 40, so I'm flying about 20 years competition now.
Oh, that's quite a long time. So you started gliding when I was born.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still a young star for you. And you are already a senior now. You are now, Frank. I already feel you are 26 as well at the moment. But
Yes, I'm young at my heart.
very nice. And yeah, I would like to see you next time with your webcam sitting here next to me. That would be very interesting.
Yes, I will install the Discord at my other PC the next time.
With the webcam then.
Yes, okay.
That would be perfect. And we have another German guy following the gaggle right here. It's Gerd Bodenhausen from Flensburg, currently sitting in his just soaring seat and flying the Ventus 3 in this competition as well. You already said he had a bad week, or we shortly talked about that previous of the race.
Yes, he had some issues with at the first day with the task setting. He missed the control waypoint or the last waypoint, and he turned around so that he was deep enough to enter the zone, and then he missed the finish line.
Oh no. Okay, that's a pity. But yeah, meanwhile, there's something interesting happening. We have Kelvin van Baalen, India Charlie uniform, who found the first thermal at the moment. He's not really climbing that much, but he's climbing a little bit, and the whole field is joining, except Kilo Mike India, who is going for the straight line at the moment. So that is very interesting to see. And that was what I was talking about at the beginning. If we see one guy doing something else, it gets interesting.
It would be quite interesting to see um, a 60-second Vario or something like that in Condor. Perhaps it's an idea for the developers, because you always have the Knüppelthermik.
Yes, the stick thermals, so you can see if they pull or push the glider downwards. It's the actual climb rate, not the integrated one. So yeah, I see the point what you're talking about. Maybe it would be interesting to see the 30-second Vario, or maybe 60-second.
Yes,
That
exactly.
would be more interesting for us, I think. Yeah, I can post it in the beta forum, of course, if we could, or if it's possible. I don't know. Yeah, so they gained a little bit of altitude over there, but we have the first guys leaving already and flying a little bit south around these hills. And what is interesting that Kilo Mike India is in front right now, and everybody else is following him.
Yes.
They're not really higher.
It was
Seems like
not a bad decision to fly straight. But Victor Mike Whiskey has some issues. He didn't start high enough, I think.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit lower than the others. We slew we, and it's hard for him. He definitely needs to find a thermal over here. And on these blue days, Frank, in real life, what
Yes.
are you looking for? Are you looking for birds, or what is the ground key to fly on a blue day?
It's the ground markings, I think. Was heißt Oberfläche?
The surface of the ground.
Surface of the ground is important. Of course, if you see birds, that's a good indication for thermals, or other gliders who are circling. That's another one. So it's quite important to start in a competition, to start later than the others, to see markings, to see other gliders who are circling, that you can fly straight to the thermal and gain height. Yes.
Yeah, it's very interesting to fly cross country on blue days. And as you said, it's sometimes just these small things like birds or windmills, for example, on the ground. You can maybe get some indication of them if they are facing like this or like this. Then there's if they face like this, and then there's thermal in between
Yes,
of
if
them.
there's a change in wind direction, it's always a indicator for thermals. And you mostly fly stay high or higher if there's blue thermals, to have more chances, to get more chances to hit a good thermal. So sometimes you also have um, formations of good lines that are where there's climb, and you also search these lines, like in cloud streets. You also have invisible cloud streets in the blue thermals. Yes.
Yeah, and that's something where you need to feel them in the real life glider, which is hard for the Condor pilots at the moment.
Mm.
Of course, you can feel a little bit. It maybe gets a little bit shakier, or one wing lifts up in Condor as well. But in real life, you can feel these lines. I flew on a blue day 2 days ago. Oh no, it was yesterday. Oh shit. Okay, it was yesterday, and that was interesting as well. Once again, and sometimes you need to do the same thing like Ali is doing at the moment. He's returning for this marked thermals.
Yes.
that's a bad idea in terms of competition racing, but
but it's better than to land out. Yes, but
correct.
you see the the decision to fly straight and to fly alone was not the best one. Now he is not the highest anymore.
Yeah, exactly. We have one Juliet Kilo sitting on top of this thermal right now, and everybody's joining it. Even Kilo Mike India, who is returning. So it's interesting to see them forming this gaggle right now. After that, it will be just following each other. The only one who needs to fly a different route is Victor Mike Whiskey. It's getting lower and lower, and he maybe is trying to get towards the next landing field, because down here it looks quite occupied by some buildings and roads. There are no big fields I can see from here, but maybe he has an idea and saw a land out spot over there south of this little lake.
I think they have. I watched the stream of Gerd Bodenhausen. They have a quite mediocre thermal with 1.7 meters. And yes, let's see when they will be leaving this kind of thermal.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a you really get exhausted by it, by this slow climb rates, even especially if you are one of the lower guys, and you tend to leave the thermal early because the others are leaving as well, and then you get lower and lower, and sometime later you don't get the next thermal, so you are stuck, and that's that's a difficult part of following other guys, especially on this blue kind of day. It's a lot of patience work today with this
Yes.
with this weather.
I think the first one who leaves this gaggle will be losing. So it's not always a good idea to leave first.
Yeah, and but as well on a blue day, you can't really feel when the thermal is on the top of it. Of course, it gets worse, but at some point you need to decide: should I go further, or should I maybe move a little bit towards south, west, north of the thermal to recenter it? But it's gone, and then you waste time again. So you really need to feel when the thermal is gone at your altitude, and that's the point where you need to leave, otherwise you lose time.
Now they are quite they have 1400 meters and climbing with 2.1 meters per second, and it's quite close between Gerd and Kilo Hotel.
Do they already make contact? No, they see each other right now. So everybody's trying to not hit each other, even though it's quite difficult in Condor sometimes, because you have to watch around with your stick or with your little Hooters viewer, and see if somebody's around. So if you have like a virtual reality glasses or anything, you can use them as in Condor as well. Then you can look around like you would do in a real life glider, and you better can get this kind of distance measuring. And we have the first guys leaving right now. Oh, that's interesting. Two other guys are a little bit more to the north, where you can already see some clouds. Can we have a look at the north once again? There are some small clouds.
Yes,
If
and
you
the
have a look at
higher region,
10.1
yes.
and a little bit more to the north, there were 2 or 3 other ones. So maybe there's a little possibility to get a cloud, and that should definitely be the best thermal then for today. And yeah, let's see if they will find one. We have two guys doing something else here. It's Yannis Titeris, who is currently fading out to the north as well to get to the southern side of the next ridge, and he has a little cloud in front in the next rally. Maybe he's facing for this one.
But he's very, very low, 600 meters, but he's flying quite fast.
Yeah, he has a plan. Oh yeah, and have a look at the there's no way to land out there. There's this lake. So you need to join this valley very high, like the field is doing. And Zulu Uniform Zulu needs to be careful there in front. The others can have a look what he's doing. Nicolas Barat, and he's flying towards the north again. They feel there's a better air mass in the north. Of course, it's the same air mass in the whole area of Condor, sadly, unfortunately, but maybe someday we will have different weather zones or anything. And we have a little comment on YouTube. Thank you, Steven Henschel. He's saying, "Hey guys, I wasn't able to make the Sailplane Grand Prix this week. I was busy flying our glider. I'm pleased to say I did my first 300k on Tuesday." Yes, Stuart, congrats on the 300 kilometers or 300 miles. I'm not sure, but congrats for that. And yeah, never mind. I think Frank and we already fly as well flying in real life, and the weather was quite nice, wasn't it?
Yes, we had quite high cloud base at 2,000 meters, I think. It was very good, yes. But we had some warm air mass in the south. It was not that easy to center and to find the thermals. How was it in the north?
Yeah, I'm flying in. So say once again, where are you flying, Frank?
I'm flying in the region of Mannheim and Mannheim, Stuttgart, in this region. I start from Lachen-Speidorf. That's near Mannheim, and yes, we fly around Stuttgart, around Mannheim, around Frankfurt and Nuremberg, this region.
Yeah, it's a very, very familiar region, isn't it?
Yes,
and
it is.
A lot of gliding action is taking place right there, and a lot of action is going on for Yannis Teteris, who's getting lower and lower, and he definitely needs a thermal right now. He needs something that is shooting him up. He's flying at the tree
level.
So where flatland is or where fields.
What would you do in his position? Would you be quite optimistic or pessimistic in his position?
If we can jump back to him getting lower and lower, it's I would definitely be a little bit pessimistic. In real life, I would definitely already find a field to land out.
Yes, I would be very fearful in real life.
Absolute. There's one field in front which he could choose, but after that it looks very unpromising. Yeah, so fingers crossed for Yannis at this part. Maybe he's getting a little bit of lift after that, but we have another guy in front at the moment, Zulu Uniform Zulu, who's facing for the next ridge. And as you can see, we are at the next lake, big lake, and it's a little ridge to cross. Very big lake. You know what's the name of it, Frank?
No, is it Lago Maggiore? No, I don't know.
I'm not sure as well. But yeah, at this part, really hard for him as well. I think there's no real option at this part. They need to go around the northern side of this hill on the right hand side of the picture right now. This big with snow covered.
It's the Lugana See or
Lugana. Oh,
Menaccio, I think.
okay. It's a very big one, isn't it?
Yes, it's very nice scenery, I think.
Yeah. Would be fun to fly there one day. But of course I would be afraid of landing out. Oh, yeah. And
No,
it's
they're getting
Lago di
lower and
Como.
lower.
Lago di Como, does Mark Till say. Yeah, thank you, Mark Till. Again, I would like to see you here as a sidekick expert with all these infos and answering our questions. Thank you very much for being active in the chat. And as you say, yeah, likes are perfectly landable in Condor. That's right. But that's 0 points. Minus 100 points. Minus 1000 points eigentlich. No, it isn't. I'm kidding, but it would be. It would be. As we tend to play a little bit more realistic. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Zulu uniform Zulu.
Is he circling? Or yes, he's circling.
Or turning around to go for a different way. very, very difficult part at this moment, because you are facing this northern side of this big hill, and there shouldn't be any good lift at all, because it's all covered with trees and all this stuff.
Yes,
it's interesting.
If you see the wind direction, it comes a little bit from the north. It's very, very weak, and it comes a little bit from the north.
Okay, that's interesting to see. So maybe they can use that, and we see another guy, Juliet Tango, who's found a thermal from being that low. Congrats to him. That's very, very nice. And he's climbing once again. Like to see him being still alive. There wasn't any other chance at all.
And he's not climbing very, very. He's climbing quite good, I think, quite well.
Yeah, it was like 2.5 meters or maybe like that integrated. Let's see later. But important at this part to get high, and we can see the main field coming in to follow Zulu, the uniform Zulu into the next valley towards the turn point number 1. And they are quite low as well, and everybody's facing for a different spot, just to make the changes, to make everything possible.
Now, Ben, what would you do now in this position?
Yeah, it's a very hard position for everybody at the moment. As you can see, Zulu uniform Zulu is going to the right now towards turn point number 1. Maybe he's facing for this little, I think it's a little village up there, to get a thermal out of that. But he's flying into a parking spot. If there's no thermal, he needs to return the whole way and go around where in your India Charlie uniform is at the moment. So at this part of the race, I would open my opportunities and fly the fast you not the fast you can get, on the farthest you can get.
Yes, to get the most options to climb, I think. Yes.
Yeah, absolute.
Would be my decision too. But I think Gerd has a quite good position now. He can lean back and watch the others doing the work and fly straight to the best climbing guy if anybody will be climbing. Let's see.
Yeah, interesting to see the whole field. And on these northern sided ridges, I predict they won't get that much climb. Maybe the wind is helping them a little bit, but there shouldn't be any good thermal coming up.
But it can't be strong, the wind, because they're getting very low now.
And the landable options are quite rare.
Perhaps it will soon end our stream.
That will be an easy evening for us, Frank. No, it would be a pity, but
Yes.
it's always interesting to see people landing out in Condor. That's not often the case. So,
is anybody climbing at the moment? Can we see that or some?
well, there was Julie Tango. We have him climbing on his own, but the main field is pushing themselves towards the north. They're trying for option.
Oh,
At least I think I would have stayed south of this big hill.
KMI and Sierra 19 are quite high. I think KMI was climbing. Now he's in a quite good position in relation to the others even.
Yeah, the first field is getting lower and lower, and Kilomag India is 2,000 meters, and he's able to do the next step. What I would have done, like going around a little bit to the south on this first leg towards Footbolo, and
For him,
going
it's not
around
that
the south.
far anymore to the clouds in the front. Perhaps he only needs one thermal and then he will be getting there, or he can get there. I don't know if it's not in front of the first turn point. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to see where these clouds are. They can be like 100 kilometers away, or they can be very close. And yeah, some guys are already returning, like Arne Martin. He's facing for the thermal of Juliet Tango, who's still climbing. Wow, I really like to see him climbing here. It's as he was, I don't know, 120 meters above ground level. That's
Yes.
nice to see him getting up in a quite good thermal, isn't it?
Yes, now it's 1,000 meters higher. It turns now he's one of the highest, I think.
Yeah, and Arne Martin is completely returning. So that was what we're talking about. If you see others circling, you just go there, no matter what happens. And of course, for the racy part, it's very hard. But yeah, we can see the first field getting a thermal again. They have a nice one above this little south-sided ridge, and they can gain altitude to get towards turn point 1, I hope.
I will look at Bodo to see how they perform.
Yes, and that will be frustrating for Arne Martin, who returned to the thermal of Juliet Tango. He was at the same altitude like these guys and could have joined this thermal easily. But he decided to return, and that's extra kilometers for him.
Oh, what's happening there? Oh, okay.
Whoop. Yeah, we are with Zulu uniform Zulu, joining the next valley towards turn point 1. And we have 2 guys right here, so they can help each other, maybe finding the next thermal in this valley. It's really hard. In real life, you have like a lot of blue competition days as well, Frank, I predict.
Yes, that's true. Especially at higher pressure in the late summer, there are quite a few, quite many blue thermal days, and here they have some issues because the thermal is quite near at the ridge, and the ridge is very flat. I think it's very dangerous not to fly into the hill or into the trees now. They have to be very careful and very concentrated. And they are not climbing very good, I think.
No, it's a difficult thermal, but they need to get up. They have 1,000 meters. It's around 500 or 600 meters above ground level right here in this valley. So they need to have the patience to get up. And we have another. Oops, sorry. Another one. If I see this, that's
You have to cough.
That's Kilo Hotel. Another
Yes.
Hungarian guy going on the south route, which I would have taken as well, I think. And there you can see there are 2 or 3 clouds in front of the next turn point.
But I think he's a Croatian guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Krasimir Rastovec.
Rastovec. Yeah, sorry, he's a Croatian. That's right. And he needs to return, unfortunately, and search for another thermal as he couldn't make the pass. And we have a French guy, Donna Pierluigi, who have been competing with me in the Sailplane Grand Prix last summer. We had a lot of races going on. A lot of good fights, which he mostly won on the final 2 meters. And yes, I like to see him in the next summer again, and maybe he's able to get a good position right there once again. And he's following Kelvin van Balen, a guy from South Africa.
Yes, a very good pilot, flying often flatland tasks very, very successfully. He's a very good pilot, very good thermaling.
So we have Jannis.
Oh, he's very high. The competition turned definitely around. He's now in the best position, I think.
Yeah, 2,300 meters. And he's again speeding. He's like the fastest guy in his block speeds today. It's 190 kilometers per hour. So that's pretty fast. But it must have been a good thermal for him. And now he's able to see what the others are doing and maybe sit on top of them, which we were talking about earlier.
Where did you fly? Would you fly now? Would you fly the same direction as him, or would you fly more in the south now?
I would definitely go in the south at the moment. I would face for Zulu uniform Zulu,
Yes.
who's on the right side right now, and then go around the next mountains a little bit on the south side. I think I would have done the same like Kilo Hotel. I would have stayed at the southern side of this mountains or southern side of the line. But maybe it's more important to stay in the valley to get towards the next turn point. So you don't need to cross that that much mountains on your way,
Yes.
that much ridges,
Yes,
and
definitely.
it's a totally hard decision. As you know, we are not used to this kind of racing in Condor. And yeah, you said in real life it's a little bit something else in blue conditions, because you can feel there's a thermal, and whether it's right or left of you,
Mm.
and you have more indications in real life to find thermals than in Condor. It's really, really hard on these blue days. To be honest, it's more like a luck game, I would say.
Yes, it is.
But
And it's I think it's quite a new type of contest now for the pilots with this parameters in from the weather.
yeah, absolute. It's weather-wise, it's completely different, because normally there's good weather setting, I would say, or a flyable weather setting in Condor.
I think Kelvin now sees the cloud uh, developing up at the ridge, at the high ridge, but I don't think he will get there. Oh, let's see. He's too low now. Do you
Yeah,
think he will reach this climb?
well, it depends on the type of climb. As you said, it's on top of the ridge. So sometimes you have in Condor like these, we call them ridge thermals, which develop at the lowest part of the ridge, and then going up towards the top of the mountain, and then whoop, leaving leaving the top of the mountain and then forming the cloud. Or you have these thermal clouds where you have this moving bubble of rising air. And if it's like this thermal cloud, he maybe oops maybe can reach it.
No,
But if
Kelvin
it's only
has pulled up. Now let's see what he is doing. If he's climbing well, I don't think so, because he is centering or he's flying straight.
yeah, but they both are climbing, so it must be very close to the ridge, and hard to center at the moment. So interesting to see both of them trying to get into the thermal. 269 is flying some 8th, which is the safest climbing method at ridge.
But they already lost 40, 60 meters. They will proceed.
Let's see if they find something else. He's pulling up once again.
I think Bodo left the competition. I don't know. Let's see if he crashed. Oh yes, he was too deep, too low,
Oh shit.
and he lies in the trees now.
Oh no, God. That's a pity for him. But it's a very difficult task.
Yes.
They're all facing for some climb, and they tend to find something, but not they can't get it centered.
Yeah, I think the most important the thing with the most importance is to be high at the right moment. And now in the high mountains, it's very important to be above the line of the ridge, and they have very much issues there down there. And the one who was the lowest now is the highest.
Julia Tango, yes. He was like 100 meters above ground level around 15 minutes ago. and now he's 1,900 meters facing for the first turn point. And he's doing quite well. I think, as you said, there's a slight north wind on this task at the high level. And he's using that to get a good line here at the northern faced ridges, and maybe he can find a convergence between the southern sided ridges, which are facing the sun, and the northern sided ridges, which are facing the wind. And so there's warm air on this side and windy air. Yes, windy air on the other side, and it gets on top of the mountain, and it flip makes a thermal above. In theory, of course. But yeah, maybe he's using this to gain some altitude and to find a good line towards turn point number 1. But the field down there, they need to get to the south of the high hills once again. And that will be very, very hard. And you can see a few clouds forming in front of turn point number 1, which maybe some of them are able to reach. For example, Kilo Mike India, who is seeing this next thermal, but it's a little bit too low to reach it, to enter this next little valley or this next little ridge. So he's but he's already climbing together with Scene Churchill, yes, Sierra 19 down there, and there's a nice thermal over there. Very nice.
Yes. They were forced to fly a little bit more to the south because they're getting lower, but now they have a very good climb. It should be around 2.5, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, and integrated, it should be 2.5, I think, as well. 2.2, 2.5. And let's see what they're doing next. You can have a look. The cloud base is way higher than these guys are. It should be around 2,500 meters, I think. So they can gain a lot of more altitude.
Would you fly to the cloud now at the next stations, or?
Yeah, I think it's on the way towards the next turn point. And if they have enough altitude to go there, I would definitely go there. It looks quite stationary, doesn't it?
Yes, I think if you are high enough to reach it, you should fly there.
And then you get towards the cloud base, and from there on I think you are able to glide towards turn point number 1. But they are still climbing quite good, and meanwhile the field at the north has found a good thermal as well, and Juliet Tango can now do what we were talking about earlier, to sit on top of the thermal, finding it, or got it find it by others, if you know what I mean, and just join it, being 500 meters or 300 meters above. But as you can see, he's struggling to center it at the moment, as does the lower guys. They do the same. They're a little bit struggling right there, and it's, I think, not as good as Kilo Mike India's climb back at the south. So they are spread it around like 30 kilometers between them, I think. And yeah, totally go for a different route. I would be interesting to see Kilo Hotel maybe, because we saw him facing a wall 5 minutes ago, and maybe he's got out as well.
I think it's the southern route is the easier one, because now they are in the high mountains, and the obstacles are very high. They have to circle even in a weak thermal high to get over the next ridges to reach the waypoint at all.
Yeah, they need to cross to the south once again. and that's very difficult at this part of the race and this part of the map. You can see them the mountains being around 2,000 meters towards the next turn point, and cloud base, of course, it's a little bit higher. It's like 2,500 meters or something, but it's not a big margin. And as they need to climb some more distance towards the next turn point, it will be hard for them.
Normally, you use the energy of the lines to get over the ridges, and this time you have not very much energy to get over them. It's
and they definitely need another climb before passing over towards the next turn point. But I'm really looking forward to see the next, to see the first one using a cloud of the high mountains and see what the thermal strengths will be. Really looking forward.
What's with the Kilo Hotel? Is he still alive? KMEs were quite high. You see it in the south.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can see them coming closer to
400.
the cloud base. Very good, very good. They found a good thermal right there and got shooted up, and they're in a good position to go to the next, to the turn point. That looks pretty good. And as you can see, this cloud is still there. So I would have gone there earlier. I think it would have been only a safety thermal for me, I think, and then face for the thermal as it's stationary.
I think he will join the clouds, and then we will see if you were right, if it was a right decision, or if it was wrong. If it's better than 2.5, I think you were right.
Yeah, let's see. They will definitely go there in a second, and we see the other field joining the side of you right now in the left-hand side, Juliet Tango. So they are spread like, I don't know, 25 kilometers or 30.
Perhaps it's also a tactical decision because he's also the highest and the other ones are very low, and he doesn't have to hurry very much.
Yeah, that's right. He can sit on top. Just use the thermal as long he needs to. Kilo Mike India. It's a good overall result as well for him, and it will be interesting to see the overall result after this day. So, but they are climbing quite good as well on the northern side right here, and we will see them meeting up at the turn point number 1 and who will be in front then. And on the right side we have one guy who's returned to climb high, to fly a more straight route. It's Arne Martin. Good line is JS3, and he's about to cross a little ridge.
In my opinion, he's one of the best comebackers of all. When he's deep or is low, he always comes back, and he sometimes then wins the day, even he was in big trouble. That's was heißt Eigenschaft? It's a good
thing.
good thing from him.
Yeah, he's capable of dealing with these kind of situations, right? He's never losing his patience. I think he can fly. Of course, he's not flying bad or anything, but he can have no luck at all and still continuing his own flight. That's what I like about his flying style a lot. And sometimes you don't think about Arne Martin, and then he's leading. And for example, right now it's quite difficult, quite similar situation. He's on the most direct route, even though he flew back for this thermal. But I think we will see them forming, and it will be interesting to see the northern field going to the south again. That's right now.
Can we see KME if he's flying under the cloud now? Oh, okay.
The cloud should still be there. They are now facing for it, and I really want to see what's the climb rate. It looks like it's disappearing.
Yes, it's degrading, I think, but let's see.
Maybe they can get a little bit of a climb out of that. So for everybody who's joining right now after almost 1 hour of racing, we are still on the way towards turn point number 1 on this 250 kilometers task today in Italy, Varese, north of Milan. And we have flown 60 kilometers at the moment, so it's not very fast at all, but they need to gain a lot of altitude to get towards the next, towards the first turn point.
It's good enough to climb, to circle.
Yeah, Kami that's the first cloud we have today in or the first cloud that's circled, but it's really disappearing at the moment. But Kami is trying to go for the safe flying. Yeah, well.
What's with JKK? Is he flying today, or?
He was at the beginning.
Yes.
I haven't seen him for a while. But oh yeah, interesting. So he's joining the middle route, I think.
It's quite 10 kilometers behind or something like that. And he's good 1,000 meters lower than the others in front. It's quite hard for him. Let's see how it turns out.
Yeah, he's quite low. And we have Juliet Tango now going for a very harakiri move towards the next turn point. Please, guys, if you see this, never do this in real life. It will definitely kill you. But yeah, in Condor you can try. I wouldn't. And yeah, we have a question of Stuart Hensel, who would like to see the leaderboard. So Timo, if you have the chance to pop it up on the left-hand side, we can see the current standings.
But I think he will pass the next ridges. He's I don't know, but I think he will.
Yeah, he's almost high enough to get to the southern side again. Not as safe as Kilo Mike India is, but yeah, almost high enough. And
yes,
there we have seen Churchill. And yeah, Timo, do you have the leaderboard which we can show up on the left-hand side? Is it still available? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So we try to get the leaderboard on the left-hand side. So okay, I just see it's not available, sadly, unfortunately. But we will try to get our own leaderboard in terms of visible leaderboard. At the moment, I would say it's Kilo Mike India. Okay, thank you, Timo. So the first one towards, or the closest run to turn point 1 is Juliet Tango, then followed by India Charlie Uniform, and then it's Kilo Mike India being on the 3rd place at the moment. But of course, Kilo Mike India is a bit higher, so he should be the virtual number 1 at the moment.
Yes, I think Kilo Mike India and Sierra 19 are at energy-wise in the best position, and they will have a escape route. The other ones will have some issues flying in the direction of the turning point.
Yeah, it's not only turn point number one. Of course, the race is continuing after that, and that's sometimes something you can forget about while racing. So you see the next turn point. Have you experienced something like that in real life, Frank, on your real life flying? Was it like, oh yeah, I made it towards turn point number one, and no?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's often sometimes like that. If you fly very fast and you get euphoric, and then you make bad decisions out of this of euphoric state, and you are in the bad position very fast. You have
Euphoria. Never, never, I just had that in my mind. Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you.
I, I definitely see the point. I had that in free flying as well, not flying a task at all. But I was like, okay, I turn around, and the weather is so nice, and everything is fine. I get home, tucked the breath, turned around, and it was like, ooh, I'm getting low, I'm getting low, I'm getting low, and then found a thermal again. But I was too out of my comfortable zone at this part of the race, where I was far away from home.
Now, I think the Juliet Tango, India Charlie uniform, and 269 have some problems getting over the ridge, and uh, they have to find the thermal, I think, if to continue. But they are climbing a little bit. Ah, not very much.
Very hard for them. As we said earlier in the race, there's no real chance to find any ridge climb or to park at the ridge and gain altitude. For them, they know they found something to climb right there, but it can't be circled because it's so close to the ridge. And I see Donna Pierluigi 269er who's going for the first try to cross, and that's exactly the point we were talking about. Yeah, it's okay to get to the next turn point, and then you can see what to do afterwards. Maybe you will get lucky or anything, but of course they need to get back right here to get towards turn point number 2, which is almost the route they have flown already, and they are still not high enough. So turn around right now. Gain more altitude.
They're quite high winds at above the inversion layer, but I don't know how high the inversion layer is. Probably not high enough for this kind of mountains here in the Southern Alps.
Yeah, maybe is too high. But Kilo Maginia, the first one at turn point number 1. Congrats to him. Closely followed by the United Kingdom guy, Sean Churchill, who's flying the Ventus 3 towards turn point number 1. It's now 1 hour into the race. They have flown 76, 77 kilometers per hour. That's their average speed at the moment. And of course, as well, the distance they have flown. And Kilo Mike India's tend to find his next thermal in front of, or for him after the turn point number 1. That would be very helpful for the other guys, like India Charlie uniform and the northern guys, Donna Pierluigi.
Now they are 50 meters higher, and they managed to get over the ridge.
It's interesting to see India Charlie uniform being the first one getting above the ridge. I think he was the lowest when we had a look at them.
Okay.
How?
I didn't see that. Perhaps
How?
the most risk.
Yes.
Kami
Sorry.
is circling. Okay.
Seen Churchill as well. Looks like a nice hill right there if you are high enough above the tree layer. And India Charlie uniform is going back and joining this terminal as well. Perfect timing for Kilo Mike India, who is currently leading this race. And I will shortly have a look into the overall result once again. Kilo Mike India being on the 4th position at the moment. We have Juliet at the first position in the overall ranking. And yes, he's unfortunately he's not there today. Would be interesting to see his kind of racing in this part. And then we have Yamo on the 2nd place. So it could be interesting if Kilo Magdinia is staying in front. He could dip in front of Juliet Kilo in the overall result then. But let's see at the end, like Norman would say, who is unfortunately not here today, but he would say at the end the fat lady sings or something like that. And ja, hinten kackt die Ente, sag mal auf Deutsch.
Richtig.
Hinten kackt die Ente. Und ja, nicht kacken, sondern knösern tut Mihaly Knausch, Kilo Marginia, on his way towards turn point number 2. Followed by the rest of the field. They are getting towards turn point number 1, as does Arne Martin, who is getting a little bit low in this next valley right there with this JS3. But as we said, never forget about Arne Martin. He will come back and of course will be in front at the end of the race. But two different strategies right here. India Charlie uniform is forced to go this lower northern route. Meanwhile, Kilo Mike India can stay on top of the ridges, getting the best energy line, I would say. It's perfect position. Very good flying so far. I like to see him.
I like.
Oh, we make some song quotations today. I like red strobe light, hardcore, sturdy minds. Do you remember this song, Frank?
Yes, but I'm curious how you can, dass du es auswendig kannst.
Yeah, that I know the lyrics. Yeah, I always remember this red strobe light part because they're saying like red strobe light, and of course the strobe light is white, but yeah, they don't know.
Huh?
Okay, there might be red strobe light as well, but normally in flying it's a white one.
Can you set the heights of the pilots, Timo? That we see that you
See the altitude of that?
see the altitude of the contest pilots next to the contest number. Can you show it in the map? Okay.
Can you enable it for every competition number? Like to see it in the Condor? Ah, yeah. It's fixed, right? Okay. No problem. So we can see the altitude of the pilots at the moment we are watching, for example. Yeah, thank you, Timo, for checking it. And we have seen Churchill pulling up right there. Oh, and really pulling up.
That looks promising. but
maybe the wrong side. No, it's perfectly above. Oh yeah, that's interesting to see the 3D view, 2D view at the moment. You can yeah, where they are at the moment, like Charlie November, that's the first turn point, and they then need to go back to the west. There's a song as well, isn't it? Go west. I can't. I don't remember that one. I'm not sure if it's Go West, but never mind. That should be the Pet Shop Boys, I think. But yeah, it's interesting to see the different routes at the moment and see what they have done or what they already have flown. And a few guys joining the southern route, and we have Juliet Kilo Kilo staying a little bit behind. But yeah, it will be hard for him to defend his second place today if he doesn't get into the race once again.
And Sean Churchill is climbing very good. Let's see if he can get close to KME.
Yeah, and India Charlie uniform as well. KME is going for a straight line once again on the north side of the ridges right now. So as we were talking earlier, the wind is a little bit from the north in the higher altitudes, so they can use it to gain a little bit of energy. And Kilo Mike India is doing that perfectly. Meanwhile, India Charlie uniform was facing for the south-sided ridges and the north of that valley. So interesting to see the different strategies.
Yes,
Maybe.
but to thermal they had to cross the valley to get on the south side of the ridges, and now they are flying at the northern side.
Yeah, I think for Kilo Mike India, it's not about finding a thermal at this part of the race.
Yes, he's very high.
More going for the straight line without flying a big detour at the moment. And India Charlie uniform is getting lower and is searching for the next thermal to get altitude. And Kilo Mike India is just using this little bit of energy he's getting out of this northern sided ridges while the wind is facing towards them.
Oh.
And yeah, if you have joined us right now at the moment, we are in the qualifying race of the virtual Sailplane Grand Prix here in Italy, in Varese. And we are on our way towards the second turn point. The field was quite spreaded towards on the first leg, and they are now all of them, almost all of them, are facing for the next turn point. There's one valley or big valley pointing towards the second turn point, so most of them will follow that.
You can see that KMI is flying much slower than Kevin van Baalen, and definitely more straight to the next turn point. And Kevin is pushing, and he wants to thermal soon. I think he's 400 meters lower than KMI.
Yeah, both of them on their way with the 80-meter class glider, the Ventus 3, onto Mozio. And the second field, the second peloton, is climbing closer to turn point number 1, gaining a little bit of more altitude. Donna Pierluigi together with Charlie November.
Norbert Kies is the...
Is this Norbert?
Yes.
Oh, nice to see Norbert right here. We haven't seen him through the whole race, haven't we? Not that much.
Oh, you see Arne Martin is very low and flying to the south.
Yeah, he needs to use his jet engine in his J3 right now. Yeah, he's really low. Maybe he's already turned, I don't know, the turn point and facing for a different route once again, but there was no other option if you are that low into the valley. Meanwhile, Yamo has a nice altitude and is trying to defend his second place in the overall standing from this week. And we get back to the northern part of Lago di Como. Thank you, Mark Till, for this information once again. And yeah, facing for Mozio. There's I think there was a interesting or quite common gliding spot or airfield in between. I've lost the name. Lanzano. Yeah. Lozano. It's on the northern part of this lake.
There's Centovalli and Tamaro.
All these Italian names. Have you been to Italy before, Frank?
Yes, I have, but I haven't. I only flew into Italy from the southern France, but no, I haven't been flying in Italy yet.
Ah, yeah. Have you been there for holidays, maybe?
Yes, in Sardinia,
Yeah.
eating pizza and
Very tasty. Yeah, that's something I could connect with Italy as well.
you. I saw your Instagram account where you cook. You cook very often. Pasta with cheese.
Yeah, Italian kitchen, very Italian kitchen is that. Yeah, thank you, Frank. Very Italian food, yes. Noodles with kitchen, with cheese.
Cheese. Three different cheeses.
No, only one. Gouda cheese. It's more Dutch
Okay.
one than Dutch noodles. I call it Dutch noodles. Never mind. So back to racing. Interesting part once again. India Charlie uniform and Kilo Mike India both battling for the. Oops, sorry, it's quite late already. Both battling for the first place at this part of the race. And India Charlie uniform, it seems like they're almost at the same altitude at the moment.
Yes, he's a little bit lower, but he gained some energy, I think, in relation to KME. Let's see how high he is. Ah, okay.
That was an
1400.
optical illusion.
Yes, he's quite low.
Yeah, he's a bit lower, of course, onto turn point number 2. But I think he has a higher opportunity to find a thermal at these southern sided ridges. And we have the guys following them. They can see what happens at this part of the race. Sean Churchill is going for the line in between at the moment, not facing to the right or to the left. And you can do so because you haven't seen the others finding a thermal. So then you do something different behind and see if it works.
He can. He's 400 meters higher and some kilometers behind those two guys. Now he can watch them and decide who's climbing better at the next thermal, and he can choose between those two. He is in a quite good position now.
Yeah, absolute. Left or right, right or left. Let's see. And in the overall standings, Sean Churchill is at the third place at the moment with 2,878 points. That's 300 missing for the second place, which is occupied by Jarmo Karjalainen at the moment.
Yes.
Karjalainen, yes.
Concerning that, Jaro Karjalainen is quite a way behind. He can fly very conservative now and watch what the other guys in front are doing and sit on top of them.
Yeah, perfectly positioned for him. Meanwhile, our Icarus, Delta Bravo 1, is speeding up towards turn point number 2. Seems like he has a very good idea what to do next. Yeah. And he has two guys in front showing what to do next. Meanwhile, Kilo Mike India is slowing down once more and
Yes.
is facing for the next switch. And even Kevin van Baalen haven't found anything to climb at the moment. Maybe right now as we join him.
But he hasn't lost very much. He has only lost 100 meters, and he's getting some energy, I think. But he's too low to get over the next ridge.
Yeah, rather need to find something or move out to the left towards Kilo Mike India, and that would be wasted in that case. So we cross our fingers for him to find something. And we have a look at the more back to the field where we have Sierra 19 and Delta Bravo 1 and Juliet Tango going for a slightly different route. Juliet Tango at the moment at this part of the race the highest one, and he's already pointing towards Kilo Mike India's valley. That's the same I would do. And we sadly lost our Condor connection at the moment. We will jump into the 2D view and see what's going on right there. And yeah, most of them flying the same route at the moment. They are forced to fly the same route, almost the same route.
I think the first 6 are quite narrow together, energy-wise. Even
Yeah,
though
maybe.
they are the ones that are behind are definitely higher, some 300 or 400 meters. If KMI gets a good climb in front or India Charlie uniform, they can gain some distance between those. Let's see if they get a good climb.
Yeah, Conroy will be right back, so we can see if they find something, but the others can join then onto the second leg right here. So Frank, yeah, you already said you fly in real life in Darmstadt, in the middle of Germany. Lachenschweidorf, yeah, sorry. And what was your greatest or longest distance flying? In kilometers wise.
It was a yo-yo. How is it called? A zigzag of 1,000 kilometers in Germany.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a very long distance. What was your average speed? Do you remember?
115 or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
It was a very good day. Started at 11 o'clock or something like that. And I wasn't aware that this that I can fly 1,000 kilometers, but I had only a few climbs. I've only flew cloud streets to Nancy in France, and then I flew to Bavaria and was very fast. It got slower in the evening, but it was good, and I landed at 8 o'clock or something like that.
Very nice. Very nice flight, Frank. Was it in your LS10?
Yes, it was in the LS10.
Nice. Very good. Meanwhile, we got back Condor. Thank you very much, Timo, for facing all these technical difficulties today. Yes. And what was interesting to see, we saw Kilo Mike India and India Charlie uniform changing positions. Not really positions in terms of current standing. They changed positions on their racing line. So Kilo Mike India went a little bit more to the north. Meanwhile, India Charlie uniform was forced to go to the south. And now Kilo Mike India is too low to get back to the south again. So I don't know what he tried to do. And that's
Yes,
totally interesting to see.
KME is getting slower and slower, only 110 km/h. And Kelvin van Baalen tries to climb, but he's not climbing very good at the moment.
No, the others are facing for Kelvin's climb right there. And the only one who found something else was Sean Churchill, who's a little bit behind. And I think at the moment the highest one, but it was only a little fart. He already left again. Yeah. Anyway, so they
Fart
continue.
of the Lago Maggiore, or
Lago Maggiore. No, it was, but let me check. It was the Lago di Como.
Ah, okay.
That Magde said.
But
I don't know.
oder was? Oder so.
No.
Jo.
Como See, ja.
Como.
Komoran. We are kidding. Yeah, Julian, hello to you as well. He's writing what is the length of the whole task this evening. And Mark Till is totally right, 254.68 kilometers. That's the total distance. So we are still not halfway through. And already flying around 1 hour and 20 minutes at the moment.
So do you think they will reach the average speed of the real guys?
Well, they have a long final glide as they are quite high in this mountain area. But I think they will be a little bit slower, at least. I think it will be something like around 105 kilometers per hour or something.
Okay.
But let's see at the end. I hope they can get fast enough. Yeah, so at the moment it's 86 kilometers per hour, but as I said, they are quite high and they can use a lot of altitude to waste on the final glide because it's a low airport. But let's see at the end. They first need to get around this competition or this turn points, and the next one is turn point number 2.
So when do you think they will have final glide? At what kilometers?
Yeah, if they have 2,200 meters or have almost at the cloud base at 2,500 meters, they need like, well, I think at 200 or 200 or 180 kilometers they should have final glide, but there are still some hills on the final part, so it can get tricky. They need to fly a little bit of a detour on the final legs. There's Donapair Luigi. Just passing by these guys who are a little bit more to the north, but they are thermaling in a good thermal and gaining enough altitude, and that's how quickly you can use your first place. For example, Kilo Mike India. Don't know why he was going south. I think he must have seen an option right there. But he was at this spot like 5 minutes ago. And now he's joining the thermal from below.
Yes, it's switching very fast, the leading positions. Now 269 is probably in the best position, in the leading position, and Juliet Tango is with this good climb in a very good position now.
Yeah, they are a bit closer or more on a direct route towards the next turn point number 2. And climb seems to be very good. You can use that little ridge flying towards the next turn point, and then they are almost good to go. But 269er and Charlie November, Donna Pierre and Norbert, they have a good line as well.
Yes.
Looks pretty promising, I would.
And they don't have the next ridge to cross. They are already high enough, and they can fly straight now.
Yeah, perfect altitude for them. I really would like to fly this in real life. That must be a lot of fun. Even in Condor, it must be a lot of fun at the moment. It's an interesting task. I like to fly it as well. Very, very suspense for some reason.
But they don't have much energy, I think. If you see it, they are at the moment they gain some energy.
Yeah, it's just a slight piece of climb or not climb, but it's better than just falling down.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, very, very good from both of them. Charlie November, Norbert Kiss is just following. 269 at the moment, that's perfect. And meanwhile, the others are climbing. Can we see what Juliet Kilo is doing? He must get closer to the others as well. Yes.
Yes, he's quite high, and he's performing quite good now at the moment.
A little bit of a comeback from him as well. Like these northern souls, they are always never give up.
What about Anne Martin now? Does he make another comeback? Oh, he's some 20 kilometers behind, but he's high at the moment.
Yeah, it has a good line. He can if he's able to cross the next little ridge right there, he's maybe able to get the cloud.
Yes.
And gain another 300, 400 meters and get enough altitude to get to turn point number 2. But he's far behind, a little bit too far behind to join others while they are thermaling. So that is hard for him.
Oh
no, Kelvin, that's a sad story, isn't it?
He performed very good now. I thought he circled in the climb with the others, but he continued, I think.
Yeah, I think he hasn't found it.
Okay.
Back where he was, so he needed to go out into the valley.
Now he has to fly a very much deviation. That's not very good.
No.
And the others are not losing very much height. They've only lost 100 meters and they perform very good.
And you can see already where they are facing next. It's the next valley. So they are just crossing this hillside area. And Julia Tango with his little group is able to cross right now on a straight line. So perfect timing for this thermal and perfect for them to get towards turn point number 2. Like to see them following Donna Pierre and Norbert right now. So that will maybe give an important change in position towards the final glide, because we are getting closer to it and closer to it. And if the others are in front at the moment, you can see what they are doing and make something different regarding their decisions.
I'm curious if Juliet Tango closes up to 269er, because I think 269er has had the better energy line, because they were flying lower and nearer to the ridge. But Juliet Tango is using the good climbs, and they are flying higher. Let's see what turns out to be better. I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, Juliet Tango really wants to sit on the top right now. He's just left the previous thermal and is now going to climb once again. And Icarus is trying to continue on a straight line. So Yannis really doesn't want to get low as he was at the beginning. He was at like 100 meters above ground level. And now he's the highest of the whole race. So as we say, never give up and just continue flying. And now the pressure's on Donna Pierre. He needs to find something to get towards the next turn point. And the turn point is not the blue cylinder you can see in front of you.
Yeah,
the next turn point is a little bit more to the right. It's what you can see is the third turn point. And the second turn point is at the end of this lake on the right hand side. It's Mozio.
How would you fly now? What would be your decision to continue after this mountain he is crossing now?
Well, I would go into the valley on the right hand side like Icarus did. Delta Bravo 1, you can see the little cloud is of this ridges. And I would definitely go right there towards turn point 2 to have the straight line.
Yes, it's this. I think it's the same deviation to fly left or right, but here you have one decision more. This decision at the cloud. I would decide
exactly.
similarly.
Similar. And the others, they need to be careful not to get a parking ticket in the next mountain area. And yeah, Yannis is doing very, very nice at this part of the race. Really important. That will be really important for the final glide, because he has like 3 guys in front showing him what to do, and he can do what we talked about earlier, this sitting on top of each other, of the others, and just flying your own race. And he's still flying with a high speed, almost high speed, 190 kilometers per hour. So he's not in the chill mood. He's definitely trying to get a win today.
Yes, and he's in a good position, I think. If he continues this performance, he has a good chance.
Yeah, I had a look at the overall results. He had one land out already, or a disconnect or something else, unfortunately. Oh no, he had one disconnect and one outland. And one finished task where he scored 480 points. So yeah, he's a risk flying pilot. That's nice to see.
On the left, you see a developing cloud.
Oh yeah.
You didn't see it?
No, but he's above the cloud base. So we use the blue thermal almost to the top. Meanwhile, Condor disappeared shortly. Yes. We jump back to the 2D view and can see them facing for the next turn point. And 269er, they fly a lot of deviation towards the south. And Delta Bravo 1, they are about to cross the airport of Locarno.
And Kelvin has gained some altitude, but only at 100 meters, and he's back at 1,000 meters again. But he's flying a very, very huge deviation. Direction Locarno.
Lozano. Yeah, and we have Norman in the chat. He said, hey, Ben and Frank just landed and thought I'd check in. Yeah, welcome back on ground.
Greetings.
Greetings to America. I hope you enjoyed your flight. And meanwhile, we try to get Condor back, and we see Arne Martin still being a bit behind. And who got closer is Juliet Kilo Kilo. He's almost close to Sierra 19er.
It's getting very hard for Arne to make a decent comeback today.
Yeah, unfortunately. And he's still not... well, he's already... he's qualified for the final already. So he's just flying for fun, I think. No need to do the first places. He's already training for the final next summer.
Yeah, he can do some experiments
with his JS3 and polish it a little bit more to get a bit faster.
Getting deeper and deeper, the two on the southern route. Oh, the options are... Oh, there was a cloud. They didn't use this one.
Oh, that's a pity. That's a pity for them. And if you look back, that's really frustrating for them because there's no real option in front right now. They just need to get over this lake to the other side and try to get the altitude. And yeah, Frank, in real life, once again, have you ever won a world competition?
Yes, at the juniors I won some competition, but it was always in at the seniors, it was always very close to winning one, but I never won. Or did I won? Some Vergleichsfliegen I won, but the championships I was always second or third or something like this. And sometimes in the last positions if I didn't manage to come home or something like that.
If you fly a competition right now, do you use your LS10 or do you use a different glider?
I flew what's it called? It's a friendship gliding of Germans and French in May. It was okay. I was fourth. Were very good pilots in the competition field. Some world champions. It was good. I'm very zufrieden. Was heißt das?
Happy.
Happy.
Kann man sagen. Yeah, you were happy about your results. And I think who's happy as well at the moment, we can shortly talk about that as the field is getting towards turn point. Number 2 is Uwe, who's currently participating at the German Championship in Zwickau.
Yes, he finished today at the second place.
Is it over today?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, then very congrats to Zwickau, to Uwe. Maybe he's watching us, commenting on the virtual qualifying here in Varese. And yeah, congrats to him, to Zwickau. And I think it was Stefan Langer who's won the club class, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
With,
like to see 2 Germans on the podium. Of course, they are only Germans.
German championships.
Yes.
But they are both Condor pilots. You have to
yes.
say.
Yes, that's something interesting. If you when did you started flying Condor, Frank? Roundabout, not exactly.
I bought it when it came out, the Condor 1, but I started flying the Lowlands Cup at 2010 or something like that, but not very competitive, so only a few times. I started flying Condor more regularly with you and Philip and so on.
Yeah. For everybody else not knowing us, we are the team CG in Condor. So it's Papa Kilo Mike, Uwe, and Frank and myself. And yeah, we have a lot of fun flying the competitions against everybody else and against us. And yes, and we like to participate, and I really like to see one of you in the final as well. So you need to fly a little bit to qualify as well in the wind.
I think Eisenhüttenstadt is, or what's it called?
Yes, it's the German qualifying in real life, and of course in Condor there will be a scenery for East Germany, and then maybe you can qualify in your home country.
Let's see. I don't know. When I'm flying in real life, I'm not so motivated to fly at the evenings in Condor.
Yeah, I totally agree. It must get winter first, right? So yes, let's talk about that a little bit later once again. Where are the differences between flying Condor and flying real life competitions, Frank? I like to hear that. But let's talk about that a little bit later. So everybody stay tuned for this nice little talk. And we have a look at the race once again. We are on the way towards the second turn point already flying 1 hour and 45 minutes, and they have flown around 150 kilometers already. We have a leading field right here, Delta Bravo 1, currently closest towards turn point number 2, I think, but he's closely followed by Yannis Teteris from Latvia on his way with high altitude, 2,500 meters. He was very low at the beginning of the race, only 100 meters above ground level, and he got back with a lot of power and energy. And he's flying very, very good. I like to see him being right here. In the overall standings, we have Jamo Jørgen Jørgensen, Jørgen Jørgen, Jerome Jennen, that's his name, sorry, JJJ. You know who I meant. And yeah, he's closely followed by another pilot who's currently flying here on this server. Unfortunately, JJJ is not there, but Juliet Kilo Kilo is on this server and following the field and trying to save his second place in the overall standing. Because third one is Sierra 19 Sean Churchill, the fourth is Kilo Mike India, and the fifth is Mike Yankee Romeo, and the sixth is 269, and all of them are still able to get to the second place. And the second place will qualify for the World Final next summer as well here in Italy. And yeah, they will already have the experience to fly these gliders in this kind of area. So I might get into the trainingslager someday. But of course we will have the chance to fly here as well. And meanwhile, we got a parking ticket for a French guy who's currently at the 6th place and still facing for the second place, or waiting for his qualifying ticket for the final. Our French guy, Donna Pierluigi, who's together with Charlie November, Norbert Kiss from Hungary. And they're both in this valley.
If they were a little bit higher, they could reach the cloud at the right. Perhaps they can fly around this mountain. That would be a good option, I think.
But of course, they need to get over this little ridge. It's a little bit could be very close for them. Only 1,000 meters.
Yes.
But they definitely need something.
Your decision would have been a little better, I think, flying on the southern side of the valley at the right, like Delta Bravo 1 or...
Yeah, it's way more flexible.
Yes.
I think they can get out of it right now. It's okay. But it's not,
yes,
it's not a big margin.
They have some options in front of them. There were 2 or 3 clouds, but it will be hard to reach them in this height. Oh, Delta Bravo 1, as I mentioned, is in big trouble.
Yeah, it was a good idea. Oh shit. That looks not very promising for our Icarus right here. I think I would have gone one more to the left into the safe part. I would have gone into the high part right here. No, it's always on this kind of task. It's always to maximize your next options and to glide as far as possible, or to be able to glide as far as possible.
Juliet Tango is heading straight to the clouds. It's
perfect for him.
The best decision to make at the moment, to stay high.
Very, very nice.
Maximize your options, like you just said.
Yeah, absolute. It's totally important for these kind of races, and use every option you can get. For example, this next cloud for Yannis Teteris.
Oh, I think it would be a good climb.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Use your Wölbklappe. Off the Ventus 3. Tuk, 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 tuk.
Only 6 meters. Oh,
Climb again.
good night.
That was too
That was
good climb for
too good climb.
Timothy's Condor.
Too much Weltklappe.
Too much work, yes. Tuk, 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 tuk. Oh man, no problem. So, yeah. Meanwhile, he's joining this thermal, and Delta Bravo 1 is getting lower, and you can see the split of the field once again. We have India Charlie uniform still flying, which we were seeing quite low a little bit earlier. He was above this lake.
600 meters higher. He's climbing. And what's with Anne Martin? He is 2,700 meters. That's oh, perhaps there will be a comeback soon, but very, very hard.
Yeah, as you said, never forget about Arne Martin.
Mm.
He's a Viking. Of course, he qualified already, so it doesn't matter for the overall standing. But never forget about him, and that's something I still need to learn as well. Never lose your patience, and you can still come back, especially on these kind of days.
Yes, there are days when you fly very fast, then the race would be over for him. But now he has a slight chance to come back. I think if the others do some hard mistakes, he has a chance to have a good contest date.
And that's for your own feeling, or for your own day feeling. It's way better to still continue rather than saying, okay, I land out or I crash into the next mountain. I'm so bored. I hate my life. I hate my glider. And I remember some days at the Condor World Cup back in the winter times where we we as the German team were like, oh no, it's shit. I don't want to fly anymore. Why? And yeah, but we came back every day and flew the races once again and again, and had big fun. And that's what I like about condor flying, that you always can have this fun with your friends up in the sky, flying around, or even
Having
if
a
they are
chat.
not your friends. Whatever you can do or whatever you want to do, you can do it. And if you are new to Condor, as you were some time ago,
Oh, oh.
oh, oh, both guys dropping water and searching for the next field to land. Really
I
hard
don't
for him.
think they search the field.
They first search his thermal, of course. But yeah, there's a short field on the other side of them, in between the mountains, in between this, close to the street down there. Maybe they can land right there. But they are still trying to search something, and they need to help each other at the moment.
Oh, here's some climb, but I think they are very desperate now.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, here's something.
Yeah, really seems to be no real climb at all. They're losing altitude and losing altitude, and there will be some point where they need to go for the landing. But you can have highs and lows through your flights, and one big high is Julia Tango, who had his low already, and
Arne
for
Martin has now the chance to get those two guys who are low.
yeah, he's behind. He's already facing for. Of course, he's far behind. It's some distance between. So it must be around 40 kilometers. Yeah, the others are around 170 kilometers flown, and Arne Martin has 130. But it will be a long day for him and a long evening for us, Frank.
Yes.
Oh, we are slowly into the Condor Matrix. The landscape need to refresh as we jumped 40 kilometers ahead. To take some time, but there we are. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Seeing Churchill towards turn point number 2. Facing for or following Juliet Tango, who is about to get there and having a good altitude to stay on top of the ridges. Why is that so important, Frank?
What? I didn't understand it.
Why is it so important to stay on top of the ridges? At least it is important.
It isn't so. No, it's quite important because you have more options if you are higher than, and you can fly over the ridges. And in Condor, the thermals are developing at the ridges, at the height of the ridges. And if you are too low, you sometimes don't reach those thermals, I think.
Is it the same in real life? Do you have like some thermals that are only on top of the mountain or only on the lower part?
I'm not that into mountain flying, but I think yes. If the thermal is developing at the higher part of the ridge, and sometimes it's a problem if there's much snow at the higher parts, then it's developing in the lower parts of the ridge. But normally you fly at the height of the ridge in the mountains.
Yeah, because I saw some. I think it was a video. I think I saw a video where they all flew. I don't know, like 1 kilometers into the valley because the rest of the mountain was covered by snow, and the sun was shining perfectly on this on the stone part or this of the mountain, and then the clouds were offset in front of the mountain.
Ridge,
So
yes.
it's something really interesting for me. I like to experience it someday, I hope. But let's see. Maybe
I
I
think
will
it's
get the
very
chance.
complicated in real life what's happening in the mountains.
Yeah, I believe it's already complicated with some small hills in the Sauerland. Yes, never mind. So Juliet Tango is on towards turn point number 2, 2,200 meters, and already flown 180. So they are almost to final glide, I would say. We have 254 kilometers in total.
Like you said, in 15 kilometers they have final glide.
Yeah. So it's yeah. It's the time of the race, and there's a new cloud, a little bit south of sector number 2. Maybe Juliet Tango is able to reach it, and that should be his final cloud for the final glide. that looks promising.
I look at the task now. Oh,
Yeah, they will return to the lake once again. And after that, they are just flying south towards the checkpoint and then going for the final glide. And yeah, we have some guys still being low, still being at the same spot, and just losing 60 meters. So they were at 1,000 meters as we saw them a few minutes ago. And we have another one joining. It's Kelvin van Baalen from Southern Africa. Maybe he's bringing some good music or anything. And
Luigi was in front, and now he's quite low and has problems. That's could be an euphoria
euphoria moment.
It's a bit depressing.
Yeah, absolute. And sometimes they just need to say, okay, it's done. We can't continue. There's nothing forming. And Jannis is facing for this cloud, which we saw. It's not much on the next leg, but it's okay. If you see this option and it's a safe option, just go for it. It's only flying south, so no distance gain at all, as you can see on the distance flown tab. So there is joining. Workklapper. Whoop, 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 whoop. They're all struggling a little bit with this first turn, as the thermals are so narrow.
When they are at the lake, they shouldn't have any issues concerning the mountains, or is there still a hill at the end? I'll have to look.
Well, I think between turn point 3 and 4, there's a small hill in between, which you have to go around a little bit, but it's not that high, so you can go around easily to the right or to the left, but it's a little bit of a detour. So if you have a higher altitude and a higher energy final glide, that's easier or better way to go.
So how high is JKK? He's performing very good, very well.
Almost a comeback for him as well.
Oh, 2,600 meters, and it's a good comeback for KMI and JKK.
Yes, very nice to see both of them coming back, and yeah, Yamo is fighting for his second position. He needs it for the final day tomorrow, which will be the final race day. The weather will get a little bit worse, even worse.
Yes, they only have 60 km at tomorrow.
Yeah, in real life. So it will get even worse for the pilots here in Condor as well. And
Okay.
Yeah, and we have first guy just heard Delta Bravo 1 landed it out.
No German anymore.
Oh no, we lost both of them. Greetings once again to Flensburg. And greetings, of course, to Icarus. Sad story, but a few guys still competing. And in front is Juliet Tango from Latvia. It's Latvia. Is it Latvia? Latvia, yes, it is. and closely followed by a few other guys here, Jarmo and Kilo Mike India. Sean Churchill, our British or United Kingdom guy, just made it over the next path, and he dropped back a little bit because he got stuck right there.
Yes, Juliet Tango seems to be around 20 kilometers in front, or did I see it right?
Yeah, that's correct. And it seems like he didn't took the thermal, did he? He circled just a few circles. Maybe he's already has enough altitude for his final glide and decided to continue.
Yes.
And
next
yeah,
landing.
so the next one landed out, and I believe Donna Pierluigi will do the same because they all got stuck right there. But yeah, sad story for them. Only a few points today. And then Donna Pierluigi, who is currently on the 6th position, can't really improve today, unfortunately. So yeah, if you are just joining our little stream right here, we are on almost close to final glide here at the virtual Sailplane Grand Prix qualifying. We have around 55 kilometers to go. For Juliet Tango is currently leading this race and is facing for turn point 5, and then he's almost home at Varese. We flew already 2 hours and 7 minutes, so they are slower than the real ones. The real ones had a speed of 130 kilometers per hour, and I think at the moment we only have around 80. Am I right? I'm not sure. Too much calculation for this time of the day.
Kelvin is still alive. It's a wonder.
Yes, he's the only one who made it out of this little situation. So only Delta Bravo 1 and Charlie November landed out, and India Charlie uniform is coming for the next turn point. He's of course very low, but maybe he can get out. We saw it earlier this day that is the chance to get out from very low.
I think the first 3 are quite sure, I think. Juliet Tango, Kilo Mike, and Juliet Kilo Kilo.
Yeah, I think as well. If there's nothing really big happening, they should be able to go for the final glide. There goes Kilo Mike India, reaching turn point number 2. And as well Jarmo, our Finnish guy, turning the turn point. And both are very talented pilots. I like to see them flying in the grand final next summer as well here in Italy.
Is it also in Varese?
I think so, yes.
Okay. At the bottom right, there's Kelvin flying very slow towards the turn point. I hope he'll get a good climb.
Yeah, he made more distance than the others towards the turn point. That's important. Sometimes it's just about to take the risk, of course, to stay safe. But yeah.
The
So-
final will be in Pavulo, not in Varese.
Yeah. All these Italian names, right? Sounds like pizza. No, I'm kidding. It's okay. Pavulo. Pavulo. Sounds like delicious noodles. Pavolo.
Like in your Instagram account.
Not again the Instagram account, Frank. I know you like it.
Who doesn't like cheese?
Well, everybody likes cheese. And as well, noodles with cheese. The Italian way. Oh man. Gerd, hello Gerd. Nice to have you in the chat.
In the shed. Oh, but it's looking quite close to the ridges. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
But I think he will manage to do it. Looks okay.
Yeah, he's already.
If he gets to the turn point, I think it will be clear to come home. It's only 23 kilometers or something like that. Moment.
Yeah, you can check that. But it's okay. He can do it. These are high performance gliders, of course. The Ventus 3. And
yes, only 23 kilometers after the turn point to Varese finish.
That's enough. And there's a new cloud to the left, or a new one on the final glide. So I think he can do it. I think he can do it. And I think the others can do it as well.
Do you really think? What are you thinking about?
Ja, Grüße zurück an Gerd. Der hat uns hier Grüße gelassen.
Da bedanke ich mich. Thank you, Gerd.
Unfortunately, we lost Gerd earlier in the race. He landed out somewhere on the first leg.
He was missed in action.
Yeah. And we have another guy landing out. That's very sad. It's Sierra 19.
Okay.
Oh, there was a system issue. He not landed out. He, of course, turned the turn point, so he's on the way on the final glide.
And India Charlie uniform is alive too. $1,000 meters, okay.
Still gaining. Whoa. Really, really nice to see this patience from these guys.
On the right-hand side, he has a cloud developing. Perhaps he can use it.
Yeah, there are 2 clouds right now. Oh, very interesting to see him climbing. And still in the air is our French pilot, Donna Pierre-Luigi. Oh my god. Greetings to France, what he's performing right here to get somehow some altitude. Really nice. Maybe he's already returning to the start. But let's see what he's doing. And we have Antoine right here and says, great to follow the race. Thanks for commenting, guys. It does not look easy, and we can tell you, Antoine, it's a really hard task today. It wouldn't be a fun task at all, but I think you will be very happy if you finish that one. as the first, like maybe Jannes Teteres will do in around 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And then we will have the first one arriving right here to 30 kilometers to go for him. And then he's home. He's able
Yes.
to catch the next turn point and then go for a straight line towards the south.
He's quite confident. He's flying 180. I think he has final glide.
Yeah, I think more than enough. But as we said earlier, there's still a little bit of a mountain inside, in between turn point 5 and 4. So you can go around following the lake, or you go for a straight line if you're high enough. And that's a risk decision which you need to take.
Juliet
Yeah.
Tango, you mean?
So Juliet Tango seems to be on final glide, but it's a slight detour on the final glide, so they maybe need to go around. Go around who?
I think he's going right. The
And
left side is too high, I think.
yeah, he's facing for the lake. Then that's important. As we said, maximize your options.
Oh no, he's flying straight. Uh-oh.
Oh no! Please, Jannes, no.
No, it could be okay. Let's see.
Yeah, we haven't checked the briefing. I will have a look in the map once again.
I think you can fly through it.
Yeah, you can. Okay. Yeah, it's going straight. And you can fly through it. But it's a detour as well. But anyway, he can do it. Do it. Jannes, do whatever
Mach's.
you want to. Don't listen to our comments, please. No, it's okay. It looks like it's not possible, but we will find out in a couple of seconds.
I think it's possible. So.
And then we have the race decided if it's possible. And we have Jannes Teteres winning this day if nothing bad is happening. And he's followed by a few guys. And there it will get suspense on this final glide because we had Juliet Kilo Kilo and Kilo Mike India battling for the second place.
How much kilometers is JKK behind him? 9 kilometers. Okay, that's too much, I think.
Yeah, they are not able to get Juliet Tango. Only if he makes the decision to fly above the next mountain on a straight line. But he won't. So Juliet Kilo Kilo is the first one on the second one, of course, but the first one of these little two pilots battling for the second place. And meanwhile, we have our French guy, Donna Pierluigi, who landed out low at the lake. And yeah, congrats for him for staying up that long and for the patience. But at the end, it didn't work out, unfortunately. Super. And Juliet Tingo is on his way towards his great finish. Well, Frank, if we get back in time, like 2 hours, we saw him almost landing out at 100 meters above ground level.
Yes.
Now we see him finishing. What a story today.
Yes, he was lucky to get a good climb out of 200 meters or 300 meters, and then he learned how to fly, how to how to do the tactical decisions today, to fly more conservative, to stay high, and then he did well.
Yeah. So both thumbs up for him. Boop. One from you and one from me. And yeah, he will finish this very easily. And it works better than expected to fly this straight line. I'm sorry for the misleading in that case.
Glad he didn't watch our stream.
Yeah, that would be a sad story for him,
Yes.
wasting that on the final glide. But the second place it still is being fighted for. Yamo is still
but
front.
JKK is a bit higher and in front. I think if he watches KMI, he will win it. But when KMI sneaks behind him and has a stealth mode on, he can win the second place.
Depends on his graphic card. But yeah, let's see at the end. No, it doesn't depend on the graphic card, but it's let's see what he's flying on this final glide. Maybe Yamo is trying to circle and do something else. We don't know. We maybe need to have a voice connection to these guys to have like a short interview while they are flying. That would be interesting. So final 10 kilometers for Yannis. He can see the checkpoint and then the finish line and has a very nice final glide above this lake here at Varese. Looks very, very much fun. Would like to have some southern winds so you can get a little bit of altitude out of these small hills. Maybe there will be some southern wind tomorrow, I don't know. Haven't checked the weather last week in Italy, to be honest. But we will see tomorrow what's happening. Tomorrow is the last day of this qualifying racing here. And we talked about that earlier. There will be the next qualifying races in Germany, I think. In Eisenhüttenstadt. It will take place from next Friday, where we have the trainings day, and then go from Saturday 25th. Oh no, I'm wrong. It's not June. It's July. So it's 1 month.
Oh, then I can participate.
I'm sorry, it's 24th to 30th July.
Okay.
At the end of July, there's the qualifying in Eisenhüttenstadt, Germany. Can you compete there, Frank?
No, I'm on a competition in East Germany, in Jena, I think.
Oh, that's almost close to Eisenhüttenstadt.
I don't know. I don't know where that is. It's perhaps in the Erzgebirge? I don't know. Doch, it's in the Erzgebirge, Eisenhüttenstadt.
Eisenhüttenstadt Ist eine schöne Stadt. And not very long. Only 3 kilometers to go, only 2 kilometers to go, and then Yannis Tetris will get this win of the day on this server. Of course, there will be 2 other servers coming up this night or morning, wherever you live. And you can try your luck and fly better than Yannis did today. And but I believe he did a very good job, and big congrats and applause to him.
Congrats, yes, very good.
Very well flown. Whoop. And yes, congrats to him. And then we have a battle for the second place.
How high is the finish line? 600 meters, or I have to watch it.
Can you have a look again? There we have the other 2. It's Yamo, who is still fighting for his second position, and I think he's able to defend it. It's only a half a kilometer missing them. Oh, that's pretty nice. Very, very interesting. Half a kilometer between them, but yeah, Kilo Mike India can't do anything else than just following. And yeah, the gap is a bit
too big, yes.
Too big together, and Kilo Mike India just realized that and is pulling out. Some energy. They need to cross the finish line at 350 meters. So Julia Tango had enough margin to make a safe finish. Now it's a half a kilometer between them, 500 meters, and zack, Yamo finished second, and Miali Knausch, Kilo Mike India finished third. Congrats to all the finishers tonight. It was a really, really hard task. I really like to see people finishing here. To be honest, I did not thought it would be possible at the beginning, as we saw many guys struggling. But I'm really happy to have a few guys back here in Varese. And I'm really happy to have you here, Frank. We shortly
Thank
need
you.
to talk about, before we shut it down, what's for you the biggest difference between Condor racing and real life racing? Because I can't talk about that. I only can talk about the gliding at all, but not about the racing or the competition feeling. So what's the biggest difference for you? Is it more like this endurance thing while you're flying?
I think I don't know the question exactly, but I think the weather leads to other flying in competitions. I think in Condor you have a more static weather model. You fly from thermal to thermal, but the tactical decisions are quite similar to those in real life. But you have a different weather model. You have the decision to start or when to start is different, because you have to watch the development of the weather. If there's a cold front or something like that, or warm advection, or warm front or something like that. And in concerning the weather, you fly more straight in contests, more straight lines under clouds. You don't have these cloud streets in Condor. that's missing. But the tactical decisions are quite similar to fly in gaggles or something like that, or to fly fast when you are low, when you are high, and slow when you are low, and so something like that. So you can learn quite much from Condor, I think.
If you have like a competition, what does it make in a psychological way? Because you are on a different airport, you're flying in a different area sometimes, which you haven't flown that often, which you're not really familiar with. For example, Uwe is going to Zwickau now. Maybe you flew there before, of course. But what does it make with you? Maybe you sleep in a tent, and for us in Condor, we are sitting in front of our computer, like for every evening. But
Yeah,
what
it's
does it make?
contest is a more social event. You have to interact with other people at the evening. You have to rig your glider with other guys, and it's a ni- it's a nicer event than flying only in Condor at the evening. Yes.
So we have like social activities every evening.
Yeah, not always. When I'm tired, I go to bed. But um, it's you know the people. It's quite the same people every time at the contest, and you know them very long time, about 10 years or longer, and you are happy to see them again. Like I'm happy to see Uwe and you, or to hear them in TeamSpeak, but it's a different social activity,
Yeah,
like you said.
I totally agree. And if it's getting towards the end of the competition, do you get exhausted by every day's flying?
Yes, I, I'm, but I'm not eating so much at the competitions at the day, and I think that's a cause why I'm exhausted at the end. But it's when you fly every day, it's very exhausting. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I believe it was exhausted. Even I was exhausted even I flew only um the virtual Sailplane Grand Prix last summer. So
Okay.
yeah, that was interesting as well, because you get to you're working whole day and then coming home, eating something, and then flying 3.5 hours or 4 hours, and then
Yes.
going to bed and do that the whole week. So you get exhausted by that as well, even though
Yes, I
you're
think so.
just sitting in front of your computer. So it's a
And you,
similarity as well.
how long did you prepare for this kind of contest days before you flew? Did you
Well,
look at the maps very long and uh,
yeah, it depends a little bit on the day and on the work. Of course, I try to do a briefing before. Sometimes had a bigger briefing and had a look at the daily results of the real Sailplane Grand Prix. But the most important part was the briefing in Condor itself. So to set your lines and where do you want to fly, what should work the best, and to have all your strategies prepared for the race, and then just drop them into Condor. And yeah, so I think it was half an hour before where I started looking at the task, and then join the race and feel the first thermals and the first ridges, and then just fly the race. Yeah.
did you watch Google Maps or something like that to look at the ridges, or did you just um, look at the map,
I
the 2D map?
most of the time I just look at the 2D Condor map, which you
Mm.
can get with the scenery, because I think that's the most uh, that says the most or gives you the most information. the
Yeah.
best information. I never used or did not use anything else, or only the daily results of the race, of the real race, like the, I don't know, CU map or what it was.
Okay.
But that was good. So in that case, everybody, it's getting late in Germany. I will say very big thanks for everybody watching. I will say very big thanks for Frank being here tonight, Oscar Niner, our
Thank you.
little.
Was not very time consuming, oder es war sehr kurzweilig, würde ich sagen. Short whiley.
And spontaneously, it was very spontaneously. I asked you yesterday, and you were like, "Okay, I can do it, maybe." And yeah, nice to have you here. It was fun talking to you. If you are interested, you are invited, I think, once again.
Okay.
Maybe get your camera ready next time. And yeah, we will hear each other definitely. And thanks everybody for having us here tonight. It was a fun race, and have a nice evening. Thank you, Timo, for doing all the technical things. And yeah, he just said sorry for the technical issues we had with the stream tonight, but I think you did very well, not showing much of these technical difficulties. So thanks a lot, everybody, and have a nice evening.
Good night, Timo. Good night, Ben.
Good night.